It's day one of the PDC World Darts Championship. That means it's Christmas, finally. Delighted to say the professional darts referee, George Noble, joins us on the line this morning. Morning, George.
Good morning, gents. How are you?
Keeping well, keeping well. This is Christmas Day for you, surely.
Oh, I guess it is like Christmas Day. Starting, kicks off today, 1 o'clock, on for the next 17 days. So, long Christmas.
I was just thinking there, I have a bit of a sore voice this morning. I was wondering, in your line of work, that must be quite difficult given how important your voice is.
Yeah, but I guess there's 4 of us that do it, so we don't do every match. So as long as you don't burn the candle both ends too late of a night, you're not too bad.
How do you get involved in darts refereeing in the first place, George? Like, I'm sure, is it a case of down the pub with your mates and the opportunity just comes up, or how do you get started?
Well, I was actually at a darts tournament one day, and the ref, like a local tournament, the ref didn't turn up to do it, and they asked for a volunteer. I did it. There happened to be somebody in the audience who was, at the time, Bobby George's compere. He was away for a few weeks' holiday and needed someone to stand in, so I stood in for 6 weeks with Bobby George to compare his shows, basically, and wound up doing 6 years on the road with him. It's not a job you can apply for. It's a complete accident to get into this job, I think.
I'm sure you can play darts to a decent level yourself.
Many moons ago, that was obviously that's how I got into it. Yeah, when I was in my teens, late teens, I was decent. Now, sadly, it's easier to. I won't be getting on the stage playing. I can get on there reffing, but it won't be by playing. That's for sure. What's
the ceiling for darts? Because we were talking earlier in the show about the prize money and how it's risen dramatically. The averages have shot up across World Championships year on year. Clearly the quality is getting better, but I mean, where does it end? Because I suppose with prize money like that, players have to be practicing all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, now the game's becoming I would say a younger game. Now there's a lot of they've got a great system now for bringing the youth through and the younger late teen players and early 20 players. And now there's a young guy from Ireland, Josh Rock, that everyone's touting as the new hot property in the game. I think Josh is like 20, 21, something like that. Fantastic player who makes his debut this week. And I think the ceiling's endless at the moment. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 years to see the winner of the World Championships win $1 million first prize. I think that's the aim from the powers to be, and I think it's achievable. It's massive at the moment.
It's funny the impact that a breakthrough star can have on a country's interest in a sport. Like, I often think of Ken Doherty winning the 1987 World Snooker Championship in Ireland and the impact that had here. Like, if you look at, and even we have players now, I guess, like Keane Barry and Daryl Gurney and Willie O'Connor, all it takes, I suppose, in a country is one big breakthrough, and then all of a sudden the interest levels are dramatically risen.
But you're dead right. That's correct. I think that's the aim of the PDC, is to get people from different countries, or they'd like people from different countries to be able to win the world title. I mean, it would happen with the Dutch, obviously, back in the day with Raymond van Barneveld, and then obviously Michael van Gerwen. And, day one is already Mickey Mantle's on the first session. So's Nathan Rafferty taking on Jermaine Botamina. So the Irish dancers never. I think, as you said, Willie O'Connor. He's got an interesting match against Bo Greaves, the new hot property in a women's game that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. But Willie's quite a wily character, and that'd be a tough game for Bo to beat William over that distance. But I think the Irish dance has never been in a better place at the moment, and Rock's a really exciting prospect, and a lot of people think he's going to go on to do great things. But there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders for a young man, but he seems to be able to handle it. And we're interested to see how Josh performs in this World Championship coming up, because I think the world's his oyster. He's got the ability. It's just whether he can go, progress on the path that everyone thinks he will do.
Have some players over the years, George, been tougher to deal with than others on stage? Like, are there characters where you're like, oh, not this guy?
No. I mean, he's as good as gold, Josh. Really, really nice kid. You get your characters. There's a lot of testosterone up there. They want to win. They're playing for a lot of money. Certain players may do certain things possibly they shouldn't, but that's my job to sort of try to keep them in line.
Atmosphere-wise, I mean, Ali Pali just looks unbelievable for a lot of people. It's on a bucket list, sporting terms, and the World Grand Prix of Darts in Dublin as well. That's another event that I'm sure gets the crowd going.
I mean, the great venues are, obviously Ali Pally, the World Grand Prix in Dublin, and obviously the match play at the Blackpool Winter Gardens. There, they get the big atmospheres. I mean, they have a Premier League in one in Belfast, and obviously one at the Odyssey, and one at it used to be called the O2. I don't know if it still is in Dublin. That's an excellent atmosphere, the O2, for a one-off Premier League night. But yeah, look, Ali Pally is the pinnacle. That's what everyone strives towards. That's what all the players want to win. I mean, just to be crowned once, is a massive achievement in any sport to be crowned world champion. So I know, your character's a guest for me who's looking like winning it this year, I suppose.
We had a conversation on the show last week about, I think it was Sean Murphy brought it up on Twitter, talking about the difficulty of certain sporting achievements. It was the 147, the 9-darter, of course, and the hole-in-one in golf. Where do you sit in this argument, George, as someone heavily involved in darts?
Well, I've seen Sean's post as well. Sean claims to have done a 9-dart finish.
Do you believe
147 and a hole-in-one. There's a lot of skepticism from inside our game that Sean's actually achieved a 9-dart finish, but I wouldn't say he hasn't. But a lot of the professional players doubt that he has. Let's put it that way. Look, they're both difficult. I understand the argument. They're saying there's more shots in snooker and every shot's different, but then you can't fluke a treble. Whereas Cliff Thorburn went for a red down into the bottom left pocket, rattled, went across the jaws in the bottom right pocket, fluked the red and made a 147. So I'm not sure look, they're both difficult. An hole-in-one, I would suggest, is a little bit more of a luck thing. Yeah, you still got to be good and strike the ball well, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to choose darts, obviously. But I mean, a lot of the dart players say that snooker's harder. But then, when you play a different sport that you're a professional at, you always find it more difficult. I don't know, really. It's a good argument. I guess, look, there's more shots in snooker, but as I said, you can't fluke a treble 20 like you can a red.
It obviously took ages for you to get your first televised 9-dart finish. Now, when it's happening, in the middle of it, are you like, oh, it's on here? And can you tell from the body language of the ones who are going to make it and who aren't going to make it?
No, I always think they're going to miss.
Right.
I just always do, because, to be fair, 99 times out of 100, they do miss. But, I mean, I guess it depends on the player. If it's like Van Gerwen or Price, you'll probably fancy him a little bit more, or Peter Wright, someone like that, the more... Josh Rock done it. I want to visit against MVG at the Grand Slam. I mean, did I think he'd get it? Actually, I did at that. For some reason, it just looked like he was going to get it. But a lot of the times, I think they're going to miss. You can't really tell, no.
You seem to have refereed a lot of 9-darters for some reason. Like, I remember Phil Taylor did the 2-in-1 leg? I mean, quite an extraordinary achievement.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't count them. If somebody does, and every time there's one they tweet, I think I'm leading. I don't know. I think a ref, but I mean, I don't do the 9-dart. I obviously get to referee them, see them up close, which is great. But yeah, Phil done 2 against James Wade in the final of the Premier League. I can't recall what year, it's 2010, somewhere around there. MVG's done 2 in a game in a pro tour. I mean, MVG missed a double to do back-to-backs in the Worlds. I mean, I've never seen that, and will I ever see it? I don't. That's the closest I've ever seen. I'm not sure. Look, I guess it'll probably be done one day, but I mean, that was the chance to do back-to-back 9s is like unheard of. But I mean, you're talking about like some of the greatest players that's ever lived. So I mean, they are capable of doing it. But
did you like maths in school, George?
I was always good at mental maths, but they used to think I cheated because I played darts as a kid, like when I was like from 4 years old. So my mental maths was really good. But like long division and all that, like I wasn't so good at long division. But so I'd get a test paper and I'd just look at the sums and write the answers down. But because I didn't show no working out, they thought I used to cheat.
Do you mind if I test your skills here? I've got 5 sums for you. I'm putting you massively on the spot here. But I suppose you're on the spot on stage anyway.
Go on then.
Right, I'll give you 5. I don't know if we have any music for any of this. It's a clock as well, just to add to the pressure. All right, George, 70 plus 42 plus 57.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
70 plus 42 plus 57.
159?
I have 169, but I could be entirely wrong. 16 multiplied by 9.
16 multiplied by 9. 48, 121. What is that, 144?
Correct. Now these are the darts ones. Treble 8, treble 12, double 17.
What was the first treble?
Treble 8.
Treble 8, treble
12 and double 17.
That's 111.
The clock's run out, but we're going to continue. Bullseye, double 3, treble 18.
Bullseye, treble 3, treble 18.
Double 3 and treble 18.
Sorry, I can't hear you properly. Is it double or treble? What 3 is that? Double or treble? Double 3, treble 18 and bullseye's 110.
Correct. And the final one for you, George. Treble 20, treble 19, double 7.
That's 138.
This is ridiculous.
There you go.
I mean, I don't know how you do it. It's especially when it's on stage. Like, are there ever mistakes? I know players sometimes make mistakes in counting up their
everybody makes mistakes, but it's generally the worst mistake is when you think you're right and the player questions you and you're right, but you second guess yourself because the times that they'll go the wrong way without asking it amazes me. I mean, it's my job to know what they want, and it's their job to ask me. But they'll stand there, look at the board, look at the market board, look at the dart board, look at the market board, look at the dart board, and go for the completely wrong thing. I can tell them what they want. I can't tell them how to get it. But the hardest thing is when they actually just don't even look and then throw for the complete wrong treble, and you think, hang on a minute, am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm right and they're wrong.
Exactly. And when you consider the prize money on stake, I guess making a mental arithmetic mistake like that can be pretty costly, which is not good.
Well, look, if I cost someone a match, I could potentially cost them winning the World Championships, which potentially could be a £500,000 first prize. So I'm sure they wouldn't be too happy with me. But mistakes happen. I'm not going to say I'm not going to make a mistake because everybody does. Even I got the first question wrong, I think, on your sums. Clock killed me.
The clock was a bit of pressure. You don't have the clock on stage. Finally, for me, George, and look, I was watching a great video yesterday on YouTube. How your 180 calls have changed over the years. How your voice has maybe, I don't know, adapted, or maybe that's just over time that happens. I was gonna practice it on air with you until my voice completely went kaput. Are you able to give us the best possible promo we could ever have? A darts referee giving us a full-on 180. I know you have to look after your voice, but you can give us the best promo of all time.
Well, I'll give it a go. Here we go. 190.
I love it. That sound means Christmas now, George. Christmas is here.
You've made a young man very happy, George. Thanks a million.
Cheers. Have a good day.
You too. Happy Christmas to you.